Hello science fans, confession time. How many of you have tried doing research or even your thesis, but you didn't really know what was happening most of the time? Interestingly, a paper published in the Journal of the Computing Research Association showed that 72% of senior high school and undergraduate students do not fully understand the research process. Sadly, some students actually believe that doing research is just looking through information that's available on the internet. Others just follow what their research advisors tell them. And most do not see how research can affect our daily lives. What can we do to make our research easier to understand for everyone involved? But before we try to answer these questions using science, let me first say hi to our new viewers. My name is Chona and I'm your resident Filipina scientist. I've been a researcher for more than 15 years and have published more than a dozen Scopus and peer-reviewed articles. I'm also a teacher and I've been a thesis advisor and even a thesis coordinator for so many students. And SHE-ensya is my science communication channel that I use to help people do their own research. Teaching research writing can have many limitations that would impede a student's ability to understand the research process. Educational institutions often have a limited time dedicated to research writing within a curriculum. The constraints of a semester or an academic year may restrict the depth of coverage and hands-on experience that may be needed to understand the research process. Research is a complex endeavor that involves multiple stages, including formulating research questions, designing methodology, collecting and analyzing data, and interpreting results. But how do we teach research right now? From what I've seen, students are taught to do it in chapters, from writing the introduction, to creating the review of related literature, to crafting the methods, and then proceeding with recording the results and creating the discussion, and finally the conclusion. Teaching research in compartments based on chapters of a research paper can have certain limitations. And this could include creating a lack of holistic understanding. Focusing solely on individual chapters or sections of a research paper may hinder the student's ability to grasp the holistic nature of the research process. Research is also an iterative process that requires the consistent revision and refinement of ideas, methods, and analysis. A compartmentalized approach to teaching research may restrict students' creativity and flexibility in problem solving. Research often requires adapting and tailoring approaches dependent on the context and the questions being asked. By overly emphasizing predefined chapters or sections, students may struggle to develop the agility necessary to address unique research challenges. And so, this is where starting with a conceptual framework can help our students understand their research better and thus communicate it better. By establishing a framework, researchers can develop a systematic and comprehensive understanding of their topic. Conceptual frameworks also serve as guides for research design. They provide a roadmap for developing research questions, identifying variables of interest, and determining the best approaches for data collection. Conceptual frameworks also aid in generating hypotheses or research questions by identifying research gaps or areas of interest within existing knowledge. So, once you've established your conceptual framework, you can now use it to guide you in the creation of your review of related literature or RRL. The creation of a review of related literature outline that addresses the three main questions of what do I want to do, how can I do it, and what did I learn holds significant importance in the research process. This structural approach helps the researchers organize their thoughts, create clear objectives, identify doable methodology, and reflect on their own findings. Let's delve into each question and explore their significance further. What do I want to do? By clearly articulating what you want to accomplish, you set a clear direction for your literature review. This step allows you to identify the scope of your research, the specific topics or concepts you aim to explore, and the purpose of your study. Having a well-defined set of research objectives helps you stay focused, avoiding tangential information and making sure that the information you present in your literature review are those relevant to your study. How can I do it? Your literature review outline should contain the methods and techniques you need to do in order to implement your research effectively. It helps you develop a systematic approach, saving time and ensuring that you don't overlook key sources or concepts in the process. What did I learn? By addressing the question of what did I learn, you are now challenged to critically assess the literature, synthesize the information that you have gathered, and identify the strengths and weaknesses of previous publications. This step encourages you to reflect on the knowledge gaps that your research can fill and identify potential avenues for future exploration. And fun fact, once you have this well-written RRL, it's only a matter of trimming the information in order to create a well-written introduction. Now, in order to stick to your conceptual framework, you have to make sure that you do a triple match that aligns your research objectives with your methodology and eventually your results and discussion. So, let's explore on how you can make this alignment. Let's focus first on research objectives. Before diving into the methodology, you have to have a clearly defined set of objectives that you fully understand. It is important to ensure that your research objectives are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. By having SMART objectives, you can tailor-fit your methods, results, discussion, conclusion, and recommendations to address each objective effectively. Then we start looking at the methodology. The methodology describes the set of techniques that you will use in order to collect and analyze the data. To match your research objectives, you need to choose appropriate research methods that align with your objectives. So you can't just put methods there because it seems like it's a fun and interesting thing to do. It has to be connected to your research objectives. From there, we can tackle results. When writing the results section, it is always best to arrange it based on the objectives that you have. Each objective should be addressed separately, presenting the relevant data and analysis specific to that objective. This organization helps you and the reader understand the connection of the data that you've collected to the research objectives of the study, and it helps make your analysis of the data more concrete and relevant to your research goals. And from there, we can reach the discussion. It is crucial to explicitly address each objective and describe how the data that you've collected have helped achieve these research objectives that you have created at the start of your project. Additionally, you should compare your findings with existing literature and discuss any discrepancies or consistencies. By connecting your results and discussions with the research objectives, you create a coherent and comprehensive narrative that highlights the significance of your study. By consciously aligning your research objectives with your methodology, results, and discussion, you create a cohesive and logical flow in your research study. This alignment ensures that every activity that you do is purposeful and supports the overall goals of your study. It also enhances the clarity and readability of your work, making it easier for readers to follow your thought process and understand the contributions your research makes to the field. But what do you think? Is the creation of a conceptual framework necessary to do good research? What techniques do you do to stay in line with your research objectives? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.